fact that it goes so up and down. Once again, an opportunity here. Isak right now on the right-hand side, in the middle. Putellas gets the ball. Putellas!
Wait for an Esports World Cup for a grand final. We're getting it in Group A, and we're getting it live now. It's not bad, is it?
Not bad at all. Especially first game. For both of them, they can get into their groove and they can get going. So it does help. We can see in the white Umut, and in the black kits we will see Manubachoore.
Well, it's an interesting format here. Now the Morocco Gaming Expo. The players that have travelled in here to Morocco are using their own account. No special, tournament mode EA accounts that you may have seen before where you can choose any player in the game. There was also a ban list that went round as well between all the players of certain players that would not be allowed to feature in the competition. Speaking of some of those banned players coming into it, Umut decided to ban any version of Harry Kane, and Manubachoore decided to ban any version of Vieira in these teams. What do you make of that? It's the first time we've had sort of a pick and ban situation in any tournament.
There's always that one player that you really despise, Brandon, that you really don't like in the game. And I think this is their chance to get it out. For me, personally, at least they won't have any excuses.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. You had the opportunity to ban a player. So it will be an interesting one.
What's more interesting as well is I'm looking across the list here of all players that have been banned. So these are players that will not be featuring here in Rabat, in Morocco, across these next 2 days. Are we in for our first goal? Yes, we are. It's a fortunate cutback to Heung-min Son. And it is Manubachoore that leads this game after just 7 minutes. But there's going to be no Hullet, no Virgil van Dijk, no Omri, Kane, R9 will not feature, Mbappe, Kaká, Cruyff, Griezmann, Vieira. They're not going to be featuring.
Here we go. That was the first goal, but now Umut is finally back on the attack. We're trying to see some goals here, Brandon. Honestly, this has been going head-to-head at the start of this game, and now we're waiting for the next attack. Manu is pretty much in the lead, I'd say, here in this attack. He has the ball, a little bit monopolized.
What did you make of that list game? There's going to be no R9, no Hullet, no Virgil van Dijk. There's Elise.
I mean, there's plenty of good players, especially now with the shapeshifters coming in. It does help them to get some other players in as well. So we'll have to see how it will turn out and how it will pan out. But I do think some other players will stand up here. And it's also good for your, as you said, if you're working towards those play-ins, toward that EWC, then it's good that now you can play with different style of players because you maybe find a hidden gem that you didn't know about.
Well, speaking to Manu, who even in fact said that he did pat Michael Elise coming into this competition. Are we in for an equaliser early doors? Messi, he tries to dive into that one. Vicario comes out and does enough.
So, Vitinha now for Manu. Manu still holding on to that lead with 15 minutes in. We've seen it going like both sides, Brandon.
The good thing is, though, Hakeem, here, is that technically there's no... the only way you're getting eliminated from the group stage is if you finish bottom of the group, which for a lot of these players, I mean, I think they can relatively enjoy today. Top 4 out of 5. It's harder to be eliminated than to go through, in my opinion.
I think if we both play, we would be eliminated, Brandon.
I mean, yeah, that is true, but aside from that, we're on for a penalty. Umut's committed the foul. Michael Elise is on for a second. Manubachoore 2-0 in 17 minutes in Group A. If you are wondering where the likes of Nicholas and Tex and the rest of the competition are, they're playing in Group B a little bit later on today here in Morocco.
This could be a final game, actually, if you think about it, Brandon.
Well, the bracket could look interesting because, say, there's the players that have turned into this tournament, 6 Moroccan local players that have travelled here to Rabat, all dotted across different parts of Morocco. They're going to be most definitely, and why wouldn't they be up for this competition? What to say that is, that should have been one goal back from it in this match. You could have a situation where, Umut might finish 4th. Let's say it could happen. It probably won't. And then Manu finishes top. When you go to the knockout bracket, we're suddenly looking at on the opposite side, are we going to get Nicholas versus Umut in a quarter-final? Because these are the matches that certainly could happen.
Exactly. Everything is possible. Like I said, everything is possible within Morocco. So In the meantime, Brandon, I have been checking the streams a little bit, and I have been checking the chat.
What's the community saying? Because we can see people.
It's in Darija, so
okay,
I won't bother you with that.
Forget about it then.
But they did call you, and this is something they said. We want Brandon Smith, right before we were jumping in. So that's perfect. They saw you, they see that you're here, and people are happy. I see Wadi, for example, very knowledgeable person within the scene as well. We had Amin Kaiza and Enes, there's Anko, there's plenty of people here that are watching and also supporting you, and they're happy that you're here in Morocco, Brandon.
I mean, I would try and give you some Arabic back, but...
one word, not that hard. Honestly, we can do it.
Go on.
Shukran.
Shukran.
There you go. Means thank you.
Shukran.
Shukran.
Again, chat, we can see you, because we are live in multiple different places, I think, for different audiences. I think Tex might be doing a stream on his channel. I think we're live on the MGE YouTube channel as well across the next few days. There's a third for Manubachoore. You wouldn't believe that man's a goalkeeper, by the way, but he's got a shapeshifter centre-back item.
Mamardashvili, what a goal.
What a pronunciation.
Yeah, I've been studying them. Don't worry.
Mamardashvili.
Dashvili.
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 Mamardashvili.
Yeah, close enough.
From Georgia, right?
Yes, from Georgia, yeah.
Same as Kavica Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, close enough, Brandon.
I had that against PSG a little while back. That was hard enough. I said about 17 different ways.
You can also say Kvaradona. Makes it a little bit easier. He was seen as the new Maradona.
Really?
So Kvaradona. All right, but I think Manu doesn't really care about Kvaradona or anything or Mamardashvili. He just wants to score.
Well, he's just been on a few holidays with him. We were catching up to him earlier today. He's just come actually off the back of a few trips to the United States of America. He wasn't there for the Club World Cup, just for a vacation to rest and then get back into the groove of things via this competition. And then he's got those all-important play-ins, which will be taking place, I believe, on the 3rd of August. That live in Riyadh.
What I really want to know, Brandon, is in the chat. Let me know. I know there's a lot of Moroccan players, so I want to know, who are you supporting in here? Why did you come? Who are you looking forward to see? And who's actually going to win the tournament? It's a few questions, but then again, let's keep the chat going. I see some Dore Maghrebi that we like. He's calling me Moroccan, so I'm happy. Finally.
There's a goal back. Again, Umut finds another one with Messi. 5 goals in just 34 minutes on this one. But to answer your question, I'd say firstly, straight back to the chat that are watching. Let us know out of the 6 Moroccans who you think is going to go the furthest today. Because, you know, Youssef Sharif, he fell out of the FC Pro Open in quite a dramatic way. He was obviously on the floor, crying, tears. I did quite enjoy that exchange that him and Nick Snep had, though, between the two of them. That was a bit entertaining. I'm all for that. But for him, not the end that he would have wanted to have coming into this, hence why he's got to go the long way around. He might not have the same World Championships journey that he had last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing Sharif in action. I'm also just keen to see what Ayman can do. I'm going to try and pronounce his name as Fakur. Fakur?
Yeah, close enough, Brandon.
Won the Ipatola this year, the Moroccan League, obviously following the footsteps of last year's champion in Sharif. And I feel like that's been, in what is, you know, there's not all the opportunities in the world for a lot of these players in different leagues. That really is your opportunity to showcase from Morocco who are the best players that are coming through.
That's kind of true. Like, the thing is, more importantly, it was indeed Ayman Fakhr who played against Brahim, his teammate, because they both won the Ebotola together. And then all of a sudden you have to play against your teammate, and it's always a hard fashion. We saw it last year with Lord Ayman against Sharif, and now we see it again. And eventually, I think you're not playing just for yourself or for your club, but you're also playing for that other person, Brandon. And that does help you, gives you that little bit of extra, I say, strength, but also that belief in yourself. And indeed, the chat is going with the classical Moroccan lines like Rowena will be better. That one is too hard, I think, for you, Brandon, so I won't do that to you.
As we said, we haven't been short of goals really so far in this game between two former world champions. Going head-to-head here in the group stage. This is just Group A. Today we'll be bringing you all the group action from the Moroccan Gaming Expo. The biggest EAFC event we have had in Africa so far. A groundbreaking couple of days with some huge players and prize money on the line.
In all of that, under the high patronage of His Majesty the King, Mohammed Sadis. So we have to thank our sponsors. We have to thank, of course, let's not say. So I didn't think we would cross that one off. But here we are, so we have to thank everybody to bring us here, I'd say. And honestly, if you're looking at the games, indeed, Sheriff, 2-1 down against a player from Rabat. He's playing, Edem plays for Rabat, Fus Rabat. So quite interesting. I think he wants to show as well what he can do, Edem. It's his moment for a little bit of shine as well within this community. And he did play the qualifiers, went through. So for him as well, it will be like an important moment in his career. Could be defining even.
How big is it to play on this stage as well with a live crowd, Hakeem? We always talk about it in esports in general, but this is a slightly different. The venue that we're in, a special one as well for the MGE Moroccan Gaming Expo, which is going to have thousands of gaming fans and EAFC fans coming through these doors across the next days. It runs from the 2nd of July through to the 6th of July. This is only, what, day 3 of the festival.
We still have a few days to go, and indeed it's interesting to see these Moroccan players, and it does help me when they see how everybody is, so whenever I see the international players, they're running around, and we actually see people in the street recognizing them. Oh, this is Nicholas. Oh, this is Tex. Oh, this is this guy. So it is fun to see that they actually have a name, even these international players, and they are treated as stars here. We have to be honest. With the Moroccan food, the Moroccan cuisine, we've been running around with some of the players, and I have to tell you, Brandon.
Who's been spotted the most then?
I think Sheriff is spotted the most if we're talking about the non-international ones. But then again, I've seen some of the people going to Tex, and I know a few fans, big fans of Tex, that are in the chat right now even watching, and yeah, he actually said, I want Tex to win already. So there's going to be an interesting storyline, but I think Tex could be seen a lot. He does go a little bit unknown, you know, has his hoodie on, glasses, little hat, so most people won't recognize him until he's at the beach and trying to enjoy his time.
Here's an opportunity now, straight down the opposite end for Manubachoore to try and find a fourth. It's an interesting record between these two when it comes to this esport. They've played only 2 times before, and that was last year in Dallas, where, if you can remember rightly, Manubachoore and his teammate Emre Yilmaz were the first 2 players to get through that qualifier and get themselves to the Esports World Cup.
Yeah, and now in the group stage, so that's quite nice for them that it's just the group stage, because now they can still feel a little bit and be more slow about this game, be more methodically, like I'd say, interesting to see how they're gonna how this is gonna pan out. And then once again, once you get into those knockout stages, that's the moment where everybody goes for the neck. That's the moment where you cannot make any mistakes anymore. So I think it's interesting to see them in the group stage right now. First game as well, immediately Manu against Umut. Both are world champions. So what else do you want here, Brandon?
And for these players as well, I think we arrived here about midday. They've been waiting a good few hours to get it going. I think they'll just be happy to get on this main stage and to get their first game out. As we said, it's the top 4 out of 5 that will go through to the knockout stage as Manu finds a 4th in that game. As it stands, Manubachoore is on for a 3-peat against Umut. He's not lost a game against him on a competitive stage since he picked up a controller. 4-2 he leads.
Maybe interesting. One thing I'll learn as well, Brandon, well, I'll teach you at least, is when they say, oh, pa, 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 pa. It's when you say something very nice. So you can, that one, I'm pretty sure. Next goal, we have to bring it in for you. The, oh, pa, 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 pa.
As the goal goes in.
As the goal goes.
Short of goals here at all. 5 in that one. Adam still does lead Sharif by 3 goals to 2. He has got a red card, though, by his name.
For him, it's going to be a challenge as well, because obviously he's the man to beat. If it's about Moroccans, he's the man to beat at that point. We can see Manuel taking back the possession of the ball. We see some interesting names, though. If I'm going around, I see Neves in Manu's team. There is some Joao Neves, I'll have to say. Son on the wing. Olise, as we saw earlier, that scored already, I think, 2 goals now. Bobby Charlton on the side of Umut. So there's quite a few interesting names that we can see and that we can take into account. Isaac as well, that's also a shapeshifter car, has to be.
I was looking at a few of the teams in the players area today, Hakeem, and I was, you know, it's been a while since the Champions League, and those squads obviously follow certain squad restrictions. I was looking at some of the teams. Here's a chance now for Umut, gets another one back. Speaking of shapeshifters, there's another one, Martin Odegaard. I was looking at Umut's team in particular. 9 out of his 11 players are shapeshifters. I sat there and went, "What? You know, why shapeshifters?" When obviously it's the most recent promo in the game, but more importantly, the height is there, the play styles are there, the play style pluses are there. Most of these items have got 4 each, and we are at that stage of the year now, Hakeem, where you're going to get the best items. You're going to get goalkeepers playing centre-back. You're going to get goalkeepers in centre midfield. There's going to be some interesting items that come into this game, and I think it's a good opportunity to showcase them here on their own accounts.
I think if you go back and think about it, actually here, Brandon. Ooh, the red timing. I was going to say, if you remember correctly, we had some Buffons as a centre-back. We see Milinkovic-Savic as a midfielder. Remember the goalkeepers? Even Petr Cech as a striker. Yeah, Buffon, the centre-back, right?
The centre midfield. Lev Yashin's been a centre-back before, hasn't he, with his famous cap. That one goes wide from Rafael Leo. He's one.
Hakimi. Actual shouts for Ballon d'Or.
He can be in the list.
No.
He's not going to win it, though.
Brandon, you're not going to get a life from this country if you don't go for it.
Sorry to the Moroccan audience that are watching. He could be on the list.
No.
But where does Dembele go?
No. You can see the impact Hakimi has on PSG compared to what Dembele has done. We have to give it to Hakimi, and here is Leao in the meantime. But you see, if that was Hakimi, it would have been a goal. Let's just be honest about it. This guy has been going crazy.
What about CAF player? No.
No. We don't go there.
No.
No, we don't go there.
I'll say that for another day.
That's for another day indeed. Hakimi Ballon d'Or. Let's make it trending, guys. Come on. Actually, Brandon, for those that have missed it, Brandon was casting during that.
I did get his last goal, Hakimi's last goal for PSG, with his famous penguin celebration that he always brings out.
But imagine you're scoring in the quarterfinal, semi-final, and final of the Champions League as a right back. You created more goals and assists than Lamine Yamal.
Scored in his last 2 games as well in the Club World Cup.
Exactly. So how can this guy not be in the shout? He also played the Olympics last summer. Can't forget about that. Champions League winner, France, everything. He won everything. And Dembele in the meantime is on the bench for PSG right now. So we cannot compare. These guys are incomparable, Brandon. Honestly.
We're into our last 9 minutes now. As it stands, Manu is going to potentially go top of this Group A. It is just Adam Hateke that is waiting in the wings.
Here comes a chance.
There's the 4-4.
Leo Messi with a very good equalizer. Maybe the easiest goal he will ever score. Just a simple tap in. Umut has been showing a good resilience to Manu's attacks. But I do think that we'll still see a goal. I think there is more in this game, Brandon. There's going to be more goals. Isak on the ball right now. Plays it to Alexia Putellas. Now all the way to Messi. Messi on the left-hand side, but a good interception from Cesco. Rafael Leao gets to Vitinha. Vitinha, Messi, and that's a good interception once again. It goes from left to right. We don't even have time to think here. We just keep going. Equalizer was there, and now Umut is searching for that winner. A little bit fortunate here, this touch, but Tosin does recover, and now Cesco can go onto the attack. Now there's Manu once again. Watch out, because here a lot of players, a lot of bodies going forward, but a good interception there from Rashford. What I personally like in this game is the fact that it goes so up and down. Once again, an opportunity here. Isak right now on the right-hand side, in the middle. Putellas gets the ball. Putellas! Ooh. Just went wide, Brandon. We missed that, like with a few centimeters. Could have been. Finally, the goal where he would take the lead.
That could have been the ultimate turnaround, couldn't it, for Umut, who's always been behind so far in this one.
The comeback has been great from Umut. Have to watch out. 1 more minute, additional time. Isak playing it to the wind to Alawaran. Barcola. Isak once again.
He's building that momentum, isn't he? It's Bobby Charlton now, one of his only icons in the team. He's got 9 shapeshifters, and that's going to do us for a full-time result. I believe a draw will stand. We won't be playing extra time by the looks of it. In the group stage, it will be a 4-4 draw between the 2 former world champions. I mean,